Hi, I'm Deborah.
And I'm Lawrence, and I have no glasses.
That's true, he does. So now we both have glasses. So we're doing a third video, anxiety kit video, especially because this is back to school time, and so
you'll need to make one so you have it ready for school.
Well, especially if if you're going into middle school, or you're starting high school, or you're starting college, you're probably a little more nervous. And being nervous obviously makes you feel more anxious. So it's good to have these things which are, a lot of people find to be comforting to have with them if they're worried about having anxiety or a panic attack. So I guess the first one is, I saw these a while ago. These are from Stickman Communications. And what they are, these guys actually have a lot of different cards and other items for if you have any kind of condition and you have trouble explaining it to people.
I've actually heard of these people before.
Yeah.
I think I saw one of theirs on Reddit, like Instagram or something.
Yeah, anyway, so I can't remember where I saw these. I think I saw them on someone else's channel. I wish I could remember and give them credit. But anyway, so this one, for instance, says, I have an anxiety disorder, and it explains, if you're having an anxiety attack or panic attack, and you just, or you just don't feel like talking about exactly what the problem is, if you feel like you feel one coming on, then this explains to people what it is, what they should do, so, or the front says what it is, the back says on the front, see the back of the card for things to help me. And then you would write things on here. Some people would say, please don't touch me, please don't, or don't worry, it'll go away. And so here's another one that just says, I'm having a panic attack. It isn't dangerous, even though it feels awful. It will pass. And again, see back of the card for more helpful things. And then this one is for ocean wave breathing, which is something that some people find helpful when they are, feel a panic attack coming on or have had one coming on. So it's specific instructions for what to do. So I thought those were very helpful, and something that just might make you feel comfortable having it with you, so that if you feel like you're nonverbal, then you just have something to give to people. Then let's another thing that a lot of people are worried about is throwing up in public. And this is a pretty common fear among people who have anxiety. So, where did I put that? Oh, so remember when I was in the emergency room for the norovirus? Mm-hmm. And I was throwing up a lot.
I don't think was I there?
No, you didn't come with us.
Home.
Yeah,
because it was really early in the goddamn morning.
Well, you also said it would make you more anxious. Plus, the room was tiny. They usually are. So anyway, one thing that I was pretty pleased about when I was throwing up many times was they had these bags. So the big thing about this is it's got a rigid opening.
So you aren't going to end up accidentally closing it, so you just barf on your hands.
Right. That's the thing, is that like normally they'll give you a bait. They used to give you a bait, like a bowl. And then you throw up, it could splash back on your face. I'm sure this is not helping people who worry about throwing up, but this is actually really comforting. So, so this is rigid. This is like...
Yeah, there's a...
You don't have to worry about it folding in.
There's a solid plastic rim, which, it's bendable, but not... Unless you're purposely
really,
trying...
Unless you're strong.
Just hold on to it and, vomit. But, unless you're, trying to bend it,
it's really strong. Yeah. So I think I threw.
And I'd like to note something because we didn't know earlier. I haven't seen any of these items.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is all a surprise to me.
Yeah, I figured we'd do a bit of a surprise. I think maybe you've seen one of them, but
Whoa.
anyway, we talked about a couple. So, but anyway, so it's really rigid, and so if you throw up, it's like totally going down here. It's not splashing up in your face.
You can see.
Too close. Too close.
You can maybe see there are these little. Hold on. There are these little ridges in the white plastic where you can roll it and tuck it.
I'll do it. But anyway, so you get the air out. This. And and then tuck it in and then get rid of it whenever you can. But so it won't smell. You won't have any smells. And let's say you're in class or something and you feel like you're going to throw up. This is really pretty flat. You could conceal it pretty easily.
You could chuck a couple of them
run
in
out
your
of the room, and or walk quickly out of the room, and there you go. So that probably will help, relieve a little stress about the idea of throwing up in public or somewhere that's not near your bathroom. Because I always think about throwing up at school in the sink. Then it's not going to go down the drain. Because the toilet, if you have OCD like me, then it's really hard to throw up in a toilet. It's really gross. So,
well, that deters you from throwing up then.
No, it really doesn't, actually. But, so I got these on Amazon. They were maybe a little over $1 each. They came in a pack of, I think, 15, although I think you can get fewer of them. Anyway, so that's something to keep in mind. So let's say then, also people are worried about what if I throw up, how will my mouth smell, or just how will my mouth smell. So these I can't remember when I got these. These are
I think you got
mini
these for me.
Toothbrushes.
I went on a trip or something and you got this for me.
Yeah, so these are mini toothbrushes. They have toothpaste in them. I realize this is not, what's the word? Ecologically. I realize this isn't ecologically friendly. But remember, this is more like an emergency thing. Like, hopefully you won't need it. If you're the kind of person who brushes your teeth every day, no matter what, at school, then obviously you're going to have the non-disposable stuff. But this is just takes up very little room. You have it there so that you don't have to worry if you throw up what's going to happen with your breath. Because let's face it, unless you have like a ton of mouthwash or toothpaste, like, it's like, anyway, I won't go into it, but you feel better once you've brushed your teeth. Okay, so let's say you have a panic attack. One of the things that you have to do is you have to replenish the nutrients. Okay, because one of the things that can happen during a panic attack is that you actually just get like drained out of a lot of stuff. The adrenaline causes problems. So one thing you have to do is replenish, and so you need to have snacks. Something like this that's like a nice like granola bar. Don't just go to the if you have a snack machine or something, don't just go and get some
Skittles.
Potato chips or something like that, because you actually need some nutrients, because you're gonna feel very tired, very weak, and you need to replenish nutrients. Something like this, or something like this, which someone started eating without.
You didn't tell me it was for the video.
You're supposed to actually ask people before you eat food that is not yours. Okay? So these are excuse me. So these are sriracha peas, sriracha flavored peas. So these have some protein in them. They have fiber. So what you want to do is you want to eat something with some fiber so that you are.
Well, don't eat those if you are unable to handle spicy food.
Well, right.
Like a coward.
Right. So this is just an example. This is something that is good to eat because it's got some fiber. It'll keep you going until your next meal. It'll replenish some nutrients. Or one of my favorite things,
which we already ate.
I think I ate most of these.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
You didn't.
This
really
yeah.
give me
So
any.
this is not. You had a couple, right? Oh no, I gave them
Like
two.
4.
Okay, so something like this. Okay, this is maybe not ideal, but it's still better than getting like a candy bar or like Lauren said, some
Snickers
Skittles or
something.
potato chips or something like that. It does have a little bit of protein, So just try to be mindful. So keep something like this with you, so you don't have to go looking for it if you have a panic attack. So you have it there. You also should definitely have some. Always have water with you, because you definitely need to rehydrate. So just keep that in mind. You should have that every day with you. So another thing, if you have a panic attack, another thing I got, I think at one of our videos, we had acupressure ring, and this is an acupressure ball. And so this is so when you've had a panic attack, what you need to do is bring yourself back. You might have experienced depersonalization, derealization.
Isn't this meant for feet?
Yes, it
has
is.
Footprint.
Yes. And it feels really good if you roll.
I'm not going to touch that with my hands.
I didn't use this on my feet.
I saw you using it on your feet.
I had socks on.
Still!
Did I ask you to take this? You held out your hand for it.
I forgot.
Yeah. Anyway. So here's the thing, and we did do a video on this with using the Sims about self-care after a panic attack. So if you're having depersonalization or derealization, you need to kind of pull yourself back to earth, to world, to your reality, to ground yourself, and come back. So the things you need to do are use. There's an exercise you can do that we go over in that video, and you can see that video if you click there. That you can use things you smell, things you taste, things you touch to bring yourself back. So this is one thing you can use, that when you hold it, it really presses on.
It leaves marks on your hand.
Yeah, it does. So it's compact, it's small, easy to carry, and when you clench it, it is something that's going to you're going to feel, and it's going to help bring you back. So that's one idea. Another idea is something unusual to taste. You might not like these. Why don't you try one to see? These are
my teeth.
These are violet, I guess, mints, kind of. They're not mint, but so sometimes like an unusual flavor might help bring you back. So these have been around for like 100 years or something. I like them, but I don't know if they're everywhere.
They're not half bad. No,
I don't have fun. So something unusual flavor might be good to have with you to kind of shock you into it. If you don't like mint, this is really good if you don't like mint, because a lot of people use mint, but if you don't like it, then this is a good option. That, or something like a lemon lozenge or something like that. Another thing that you can use is
you take that, I take this.
Okay. I have like 8 of those.
Give me some.
Okay. So another thing is I made some lip balm, and it's using the same recipe.
She makes a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to know how to make it, then
shaving soap.
Click on that link above, and that'll line up the video. I made it for the DIY Peace of Mind's Origin stress relief balm, but it's basically the same thing, and I'll put the actual recipe for these two below. But so this one's coffee, which is a strong smell. I know you don't like coffee, right?
No, I do. It smells pretty good.
So you can use that as a lip balm, and so then that's right there under your nose. because a big part of taste is smell. So so this is a nice strong smell, and that actually tastes good and is good for your lips. And this one it's much more subtle. It's lavender chamomile with vanilla.
Smells pretty good.
It's much more subtle, but it's also calming. So you might want to use it if you're stressed out. Instead of using it after a panic attack, it might be good to use if you're stressed out. Lavender and chamomile are very calming, and I actually put a little vanilla in too, just to add a little something. And so that's a good idea, because again, that's right under your nose, and you know, it can help calm you down. So so anyway, the as I said, that you can watch the video on making the lip balm, and the ingredients for those, which are different from the ones I used in the Peace of Mind. Now I got these from a couple different locations. There are other ways to make, for instance, like coffee lip balm, but this is the way I made it. I got it from this place, Majestic Mountain Sage, and see, it's really strong. I'm not sure how they did it. They somehow infused some I forget what, some butter, some kind of butter. They call it coffee butter. Anyway, so they infused coffee into it. So it's really, really strong, and used some of that and some other ingredients. Then also from Majestic Mountain Sage, that's where I got the natural vanilla oil. But there are other ways to get vanilla into things. And vanilla was not the essential ingredient. I just added it in to make the coffee one taste better, and then to add a little something to the lavender chamomile. But this is not an essential ingredient, but that is a place you can get it. And then I got I got lavender chamomile flavor oil from this place that I really like called Sweet Cakes. But there are recipes online for lavender chamomile lip balm that I can that I'll link to. So this is an easy way to do it, but there are other ways to do it. It's going to taste weird after the violet. And besides, I want some of those, don't eat them all. So anyway, so then the other thing, another thing I have is, so this was an idea that came to me when I went to Joann's yesterday, and I was just looking to see if there were any interesting fabrics like the one we used to do the mermaid scale notebook. And so I ran across this, and so this is another thing. Like the mermaid scale one was more in like distracting yourself if you were getting anxious, you know, making patterns in it, and you know, making the mermaid scale sequence go up and down. This one is more for comfort. So if you know, and also for
it's really soft.
Yeah,
this is seriously soft. And
also for again, touch, using one of your sensations if you have a panic attack. So this, I just took a plain.
I want a blanket made out of this.
Yep, I will see about getting some more. A plain 3-ring binder, and then what I did.
Oh, it's shedding.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is one problem with this. I just made this today, so it'll take a little time to stop shedding. Things you're going to need are a plastic 3-ring binder. I used one of the floppy ones, not one of the rigid ones. Some faux fur fabric, about ½ a yard. I used a fabric that's fairly thin. You'll also need preferably a hot glue gun. I don't know for sure how well regular glue will work, but if that's all you have, it's definitely worth a try. First, measure the height and width of the binder. Assuming you want to cover both sides, the front and the back, measure the whole width from the far left to the far right when the binder is open flat on your surface. You're going to want to add an extra inch to all sides. You want the cut fabric to be bigger than the binder. Then use a pen and the measuring tape or ruler to make marks on the back side of the fabric where you're going to cut. You don't have to draw lines, just make hash marks every couple of inches to keep you on track when you're cutting the fabric.
By the way, cutting faux fur is hard. If you have some nice fabric scissors, you should use those. Cut your piece of fabric out and prepare for lots of shedding. Shipping or duct tape in a circle around your hand will help a lot with cleanup. After you've cut out your rectangle of fabric, it's time to start gluing it on. Start at the right or left edge, gluing a section at a time, pressing down and waiting a minute or so before moving on to let the glue harden. By the way, hot glue tip. If you get some on your skin, don't try to peel it off while it's warm. Let it cool and it may come right off without taking some of your skin with it. If it's still sticking, try pouring some nail polish remover on it and waiting a while before trying to peel it off again. When the fabric is all glued on, let it sit for 20 or 30 minutes. Then start trimming off the excess around the edges. Once it's close, take it outside if you can and start brushing at the edges to get the loose fur off. And that's it. If it's still shedding after a couple of days of use, you might want to use some plain white glue or some other type of glue to carefully dot along the cut edges and seal it off.
So anyway, so that's how to make it. It's not rocket science, and there probably are other ways to do it, but I thought that I tried a couple different ways and that seemed to work the best. So you're gonna have to pick those up. So anyway, and then the other thing I made, and it doesn't look like much, looks a little weird, but so this is a glitter squeeze ball.
Okay, don't squeeze it too hard, because you remember what happened last time we squeezed a glitter ball really hard?
No, yeah, but that was because...
There's still glitter out there.
But those
There's still glitter outside.
Yeah, but those were with the sequins that had the sharp edges. This has no sharp edges.
If it bursts, you're cleaning that all up by yourself.
It has no sharp edges. And those other ones, the one with the... what are those little balls called?
Orbeez.
Yeah, the other one with the Orbeez this is a few months later and it's still in good shape. It's still looks fine. So these look a little fragile, but they're really not.
To make your glittery stress ball, you need a clear balloon, and they really look kind of yellow when they're not blown up, by the way. Some fine silver glitter, blue food coloring or soap coloring, clear glue, some boiled or distilled water, and a squeezable bottle. I used one of the bottles I have for soap and cosmetic crafting because it's got a small opening. You can use a water bottle as long as the opening isn't too big. A hint water bottle opening is too big, but a Dasani bottle, for instance, should be just fine, just to give you an idea. A funnel would be helpful, but not essential. Pour some of the water into the bottle first. This is so the glue won't stick to the sides of the bottle. Then pour in some glue, about 1/3 of the amount of the water. Then put in 4 or 5 drops of coloring, put the cap on, and shake vigorously. Once the color is spread evenly, pour a teaspoon or so of glitter in and shake again. Make more than you think you'll need to fill the balloon. Once you're happy with how it looks, fit the opening of the balloon over the opening of the bottle. Turn the bottle and balloon upside down and squeeze the bottle contents into the balloon. The bottle should only be stretched out a little by the contents of the bottle. You're going to stretch it when you squeeze it, so it needs a lot of give left. It can't be full and tight. Leave the straight end part of the balloon empty, or you'll have a mess when you try to tie it off. Pull the balloon off the bottle opening and make a knot. It may not look impressive, but once you start squeezing it, you'll see all the glitter swirling around, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So it's kind of, I mean, it's cool looking. It's kind of like with the one with the Orbeez. It looks kind of weird, and you're like, ah. And then it's kind of mesmerizing when you look at it. So it swirls all around, and it's just something that you can focus on if you're feeling anxious. It's not, necessarily something to help after you've had a panic attack, but it is something that you can focus on and to help calm yourself down. So obviously these are just ideas, and you're going to want to come up with your own anxiety kit, panic attack kit.
Yeah, like this was her. This was her idea of one. You can have your own.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look into what kind of self-care is important after you have an anxiety attack. I think our video was pretty good. The Sims one, that was from a suggestion by a viewer, and there's a lot of stuff out there to read and see what your body needs to recover from a panic attack, and so you're going to want to make your own up. But so these are just suggestions, but I think some of them could be quite helpful. So anyway, are you going to leave me some?
No.
Yes. So we hope this video has been helpful. And
because if it wasn't, that would suck.
Okay. And if you have any suggestions or comments, we'd love to see them below. And we'll see you next time. Be well. It's better to have...
Ooh, hummingbird. Oh, it's fucking gone.
Hi, I'm Deborah.
And I'm Lawrence.
And we're going to do a follow-up to our... I guess this is the third anxiety kit video we've done.
I don't know.